All right, let's get right into it. We're staging a financial showdown between two people you think you know, the polished office worker and the humble farmer. Now, you probably think you already know who's winning, but trust me, the real answer here might just challenge everything you believe about what it means to be wealthy.
So picture this. It's morning. You're getting ready for work. You put on your daily battle uniform, the crisp shirt, the shiny shoes. You look in the mirror before heading out to your skyscraper office, and you feel like you've made it, right? You're at the top of the food chain. Or are you?
Now let's totally shift gears and head out to the countryside. You've got a farmer out there in muddy boots, probably smells more like sweat and sun than expensive perfume, while you're holding a salary slip, which is really just a piece of paper, a promise. They're holding actual livestock, assets worth a fortune. While you've got a car payment, they might own acres and acres of land, all paid for.
So let's be brutally honest for a second. If we strip away all the stuff that looks like success, the fancy office, the title, and we get down to the raw numbers, the assets, the actual systems, who is really winning this financial war? The answer is probably not what you think.
Okay, first things first, we have to dismantle the biggest illusion that we've all been sold, the idea that a monthly paycheck is safe. This, right here, is where the trap is laid.
See, the office worker's entire strategy is built on what's called active income. You're basically on a treadmill, trading your limited, precious hours for cash. It's a really dangerous game because the second you step off that treadmill, maybe you get sick, maybe you get fired, maybe you're just, sleeping, that money tap turns off. Instantly. You are a cog in someone else's machine. And what's wild is that some people call this the most primitive trading strategy in all of economic history. And why is that? Well, because you have a hard cap on what you can earn. There are only 24 hours in a day, right? You are literally selling the one thing you can never, ever get back, your time, for a wage. Now let's flip over to the farmer's playbook, because this is where the strategy just completely changes. See, farmers don't just work for money. They build an entire army of assets that works for them. And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? Your salary meter stops ticking the second you clock out. But the farmer, they're in command of a biological machine. Their assets, their animals, have metabolisms that are basically 24/7 factories. While the farmer is sleeping, their cows are literally turning grass into valuable meat. While they're on vacation, the chickens are still laying eggs. Their wealth is compounding automatically, without them even trying. And that brings us to the farmer's secret weapon. It's what the source material brilliantly calls a kage bunshin asset. Now, if you're a fan of anime, you know that's a ninja technique where a warrior creates clones of themselves. Well, this is an asset that can literally clone itself. Just think about it for a second. A farmer buys one core asset, let's say it's a goat. Without putting in any more money, that one asset naturally produces new assets. Then, those baby goats grow up and produce even more assets. It's the most powerful kind of compound interest, and it's happening organically, right there in a barn. Meanwhile, if you want a new asset, like a share of stock or a piece of property, what do you have to do? You've got to go trade more of your life, more of your time to earn the money to buy it. But the farmer's assets? They're a factory for making more assets. You can't put two wallets together and hope for a baby wallet in 9 months. But a farmer's goat? It absolutely can and will create a brand new asset for free. So this brings us to a really critical point, financial resilience. It's not just about how you make your money, it's about how well that income stream holds up when a crisis inevitably hits. For anyone with a salary, this cycle is probably painfully familiar. The first week of the month, you feel like a king, right? By the middle of the month, you're in survival mode. And by the end, you're scraping by, just anxiously waiting for that next paycheck to hit like a desert traveler waiting for rain. It's a super fragile, high-stress way to live. And all the while, there's this silent enemy just eating away at your money, inflation. Your salary might get a little bump once a year, if you're lucky, but the price of everything else, food, gas, rent, that can go up multiple times a year. Your actual purchasing power is constantly getting weaker. You're slowly getting poorer, and you might not even realize it. The farmer, on the other hand, just kind of rides the wave of inflation. They're not storing their wealth in paper currency that gets weaker every day, no. They're storing it in living, breathing assets. When the price of animal feed goes up, you can bet the price of meat and eggs goes up right along with it. Their net worth automatically adjusts itself to the market. It's a biological hedge. And here's the most important point of all. When a crisis hits, what do people stop buying? They stop buying fancy apps, designer clothes, entertainment. But what do they never, ever stop buying? Food. The farmer operates in the primary sector. It is the absolute last bastion of the economy. Your cool new tech startup can go bankrupt overnight, but a farm that provides the world with breakfast, that's about as recession-proof as it gets.
Okay, so what about the future? Let's talk about two of the biggest threats facing every modern worker today: office politics and, of course, artificial intelligence.
So if you want to double your salary, what do you have to do? Probably get another degree, rack up some certifications, play the game of office politics, and just pray that your boss is in a good mood when it's time for your performance review. Your entire fate is in someone else's subjective hands. Now, what if a farmer wants to double their income? They double their livestock. That's it. The system is simple, it's scalable, and it's based on results. A cow does not care if you have an MBA.
And now for the elephant in the room, the big one, the existential threat that is keeping countless white-collar workers staring at the ceiling at night: artificial intelligence.
And this right here is the final, brutal truth of it all. An AI can write your code, it can create your graphics, it can draft your reports, and it can probably do it all faster and cheaper than you can. It's coming for a lot of professional jobs, but no matter how smart it gets, an algorithm will never, ever be able to produce a physical egg that you can fry up for breakfast. The farmer holds an irreplaceable asset in the real world.
So after laying out all the evidence, we've arrived at the final verdict in this financial showdown.
Based on all the facts we've just run through, from the self-replicating assets all the way to immunity from AI, the verdict is crystal clear. It is a decisive 7-0 win for the farmer. Their victory is built on this incredibly powerful foundation. Assets that multiply all by themselves. A business model that's basically immune to inflation and recession, and a system that cannot be replaced by robots. And while farming definitely has its own major risks, the financial principles they use create a tangible legacy that can be passed down for generations.
And this brings us to the final and most critical question for you. Look, this isn't about telling you to quit your job tomorrow and buy a farm. It's about a shift in mindset. Will you continue to be a disposable battery, just powering someone else's wealth machine until you're all used up? Or will you start, even on the smallest scale, to build a system of your own? Something to think about.